not find us on your TV. Because in case you did not know, we're being brought to you by
OTR.
Brought to you by
27.085 megahertz.
Brought to you by RADI.
The Old Tube Radio Network.
Yet, despite my best efforts to break things, I do believe this is indeed the Old Tube Radio Network. Real radio is glowing in the dark. Let me change a few things. We don't need any rigs off. We don't need the Nixies on. We will be checking in the shortwave listeners. That's what we do here, the Old Tube Radio Network. Real radio is glowing in the dark, promoting the use and distributing information about old tube radios from the Class D Citizen Band radio service on your Class D Citizen Band radio. My name is Dennis. I'm one of the many net controllers to sit in the air chair here. So welcome. If you're listening to us locally, be checking in at 27085. We're on Channel 11 in the Central Valley of California. There could be some skip going on tonight. You never know. You can also listen in at oldtuberadio.net on your Universal Media Net web, where you will have a link to possibly some type of video thing that is going on. I don't know about that. But in the meantime, I know we're on the air here locally. So before we get started, well, we're started already. But before we get into the directed net roll call, let me make sure there are, if there are any stations that would like to get an early check, and we have a couple of that have checked in already, I am listening.
Broker 24.
All right, 24, Joseph, we've got you. No problem. Over.
Dennis, be sure and get 650.
All right, the ever-popular 650, and I already got 56 just for kicks and 61, so he could get out of the cold. Anybody else for an early check-in? And then 195 up in beautiful and I would say cold, but we've had some clouds come through, so it's not as cold. It might be wet up there. Anyway, Jim, we've got you checked in. Got some rain this morning and supposed to get some more. I think the second big storm is going to be coming through at the beginning of next week. Let's try 00, since I've got the list in front of me, and that is SW11, Mr. Cornbread. Someone did say 00 with the X in the square. Also, SWL number 1, the cosmic check-in for Mr. Jim, and the live and direct check-in for Mr. OBP. He's 9 pounds, good modulation. I do believe he's hanging out somewhere on the video display side. So get on the chat room and give him a signal report. SWL3, I've got a check-in for Rob. Let's see, what is the second Friday? I think Friday coming up, he's going to be at the Clovis Amateur Radio Pioneers meeting coming up this Friday. I do not know what the topic is. SWL number 5 from the old radio night, which I hear JT needed to sign off early to have some chicken soup and choke the mud duck, I guess, and take it a little bit easy. So I will get 21 checked in and all the group, but hello to all of you who have jumped over from the Wheel of Fortune, old radio night in Wasama Swamp. So thanks for that, Sullivan. We've got you checked in. Thanks for joining us tonight. Uh-oh. There's no room for a moocher. All right, get on me. Come on, go ahead. Moocher cat. Ow. We've got sharp claws on that cat. Let's go to SWL 7. Over.
SWL 7 checking in.
7 checking in and sounding good from a mile away. Over.
And thank you, and I'll be listening to the rest of the show.
Okay, I will too. I'll try to be keeping it on the air here. Heading way out yonder to Sangertown. Heard from them earlier, checking out some radios, and it was sounding good. Let's see if 982 Dirt Dog is by the microphonium tonight. Over.
Proxy the Dirt Dog.
All right, Dirt Dog, we'll get the proxy check-in. Sounded good last week. Don't go too far away from the microphonium there. Also looking for 10 and 30. That's Chrissy and Dwayne. I'll get them proxied in. I didn't check my list to see if they're hanging out, but they might be. 11 and 12, Cornbread Dapper Dan, looking dapper, feeling dapper. I'm feeling dapper with some extra weight on the air chair here tonight. So we've got 11 and 12. I'm going to have to get some type of old tube uniform for Moocher if she keeps wanting to video bomb the network here. Let's go. And that reminds me, that's the sound of the Echolink link coming in. Reminds me we will have the Echolink link is up tonight. Let me see who else is around. Let's try SWL 13, see if Mr. Cobra is checking in tonight. I will refresh the comments. Hello to stations from Fresno, Duluth, Georgia, Middletown, Ohio, the unknown SWL, but you know who you are. Sacramento, Centerville, Ware Shoals, South Carolina, Edmonton, Alberta. The Alberta, Canada stations are in Plymouth, Minnesota, Belfast, Maine, and a host of others on your old tube radio network tonight. Mike, I see you. Mr. Cobra, I will put the X and the square and we'll give you a check-in. Let me switch over to what we used to call in the business a quad split, so that way you can see all the little things that happen around here and get yourself, give yourself a signal report when you check in and see that you are checked in. Heading back out to Sangertown, SWL 14.
Hey, howdy Dennis, SWL 14 checking in from Sanger, and Harvey and I have been busy today, so I am looking forward to this evening.
That's great. I have, make sure I got the radio list here. Yes, I do, and it has plenty of entries, plenty of spaces in which to enter the radios coming on there, so that will be a good thing. So don't touch that dial and don't go way too far.
We'll be waiting. Thanks for the check-in.
All right, and thank you. Who was the break OTR? Over.
You got 53 checking in, Dennis. Good evening.
All right, 5-3, Mr. Belair, over on page 2. We've got you checked in, and you are sounding good. Thanks for joining us tonight. We are in the fourth week of this 8-week roster for 2/1/2025. Mooch makes a great table here. Let's go over to, where was it? Oh, SWL 15. Hans is in. Greetings from Alpha 175, checking in from Copenhagen, Denmark. And, you know, three people tonight have said they are probably going to check out early because they are catching a cold. Tis the season. I'm trying not to do that myself here with the weather being super cold and rainy and all that stuff. So we'll see what we got. So if you need to jump out early tonight and do what you do. Good morning to you, by the way. Go ahead and do so. But we're glad you stopped by all the way from Copenhagen, Denmark.
Break OTR.
And the break OTR, go ahead, over.
Early check-in, Dennis. 5-1, checking in.
All right, 5-1, we got you. I've got the X and the check and all that. You are sounding good as always. Dr. Dave, thanks for joining us.
10-4, Alex, good evening.
All right, 305 out of Sanger checking in tonight. On page 1, I see a Charlie, Mr. Charles there. I'll get the SWL 16 checked in. Looking good. He's behind the lights and camera here helping me out tonight. I think he put some treats. He put some treats in the air chairs. That's why Moocher's coming in tonight. Put the treats over there. Let's go to SWL 17. We got a little bit of motorboat noise on the receive tonight, but not too bad. Let's go to SWL 18. Making some adjustments here on the receiver. I've got the 2.7 filter on. I got some different filters tonight. Some super wide 8K and a 12K filter, so I might switch to those when we're checking on the radio, see how people sound on the wide mode of operation. Let's go to And just a reminder that our tube radios, those glowing-in-the-dark radios, will be coming up right after the roll call here. And remind you don't need any numbers or have to check in or whatever to join us tonight. So keep that in mind when the festivities begin with the radios. And let us know if you're watching on the video on the chat what you've been doing this week or what radios you might be trying to check in on, were I to be able to hear you. SWL18 Mikey, I got a check in from Facebook. SWL19, of course, is Chet on the cue cards tonight. And you have the treats. Chet has the, Charlie's pointing at Chet. He's the one throwing the little cat treats over here to keep Moocher on my side of the screen. Thank you, 19. We've got you checked in tonight. Well, that is quiet. Let me see if I get... Throwing myself off when I don't hear any receive. Let's go to SWL20.
Number 20 here. Please check me in. 29 and 54. And let me see. I still have the list of radios that number 37 is selling. I put that out. I think last week or such. And also Ed has some radios, tube radios for sale, which I have, and I will mention those a little later on. Okay? Thank you, Dennis.
All right, thank you as well. Sounding good. Got the X in the square, and you are definitely back in the air chair because I hear you just fine.
Okay. Sounds good to you. I mean me. Talk to you later.
All right, thank you for that. Let me go over to SWL21. You know, I was having some problems with my audio tonight. I'm going to bring his video up, but, or maybe not. I was having problems with the audio link up to do, so I don't think I have the audio. There is the video. He's got the Galaxy Saturn Turbo CB radio Old Night. Shout-out wheel, of course, so some of you over on the shout-out wheel. So I see the picture. So I was thinking it wasn't still live, but I think it is. If you guys are still live, I can't get the audio coming through. I'm trying, but give me a thumbs up in front of the Galaxy Saturn if you're listening to us. And we'll get everybody checked in here tonight. SWL21 from the Wasama Swamps. Hanging in there tonight. Out on Old Radio Night. Just listening. I have a feeling if I try to hook up the audio, I'll break everything. And how many of you made the wheel tonight? All right, let's go back into the studio here, the Old Tube Radio Network. We've got 20 and 21 checked in tonight. Let's see if Tyler is listening somewhere, SWL22. Hello to Claremore, Oklahoma. Jumping in with us tonight, and I'm seeing if Tyler's on the Echo Link. I got a couple of stations on Echo Link, which we will check in with tonight. He was there last week, but I'm going to save this week. We'll give him a proxy. How about 23 Skidoo? Rumor has it that the Espresso Trucking Company might be in before we sign off tonight. If they are, we'll have them step up in front of the microphone for you. SWL24 checked in earlier. How about SWL25?
25 checking in, Dennis. Hope you're doing good.
Hey, I'm doing well, and likewise to you. You sounded good the other night on one of the various nets, and I hear you right now beaconing past the Big Giraffe and all those people out there.
The Big Giraffe. Yeah, so it's a big potato down in your neck of the woods. Anyway,
All right, 25 and 74. No, you're doing good. You're above my noise level, and it is beaconing quite nicely, so not a problem, and the check-in is good. Have a great rest of your weekend over. Okay, we'll see if that helps at all, but it is beaconing through. Over to page 2, and for SWL 27. Ouch. SWL 28. See what is on the menu tonight up there in Sacramento. Let me take a quick run down the video while we're waiting for Gary. I see Joey is in. Catalyst, United at Delta X-Ray 122. Thanks for joining us. Albert and the gang, waving from the west coast of British Columbia, UDX 256. One of the Squamish boys tonight. And I'm still looking for that great SDR to come back. But it's just not happening. I don't know. Caller Radio, hello to you. Kurt, we're going to get Kurt on the Echolink link here in a little bit. See how it's going with the new general privileges. There's 21 with a bad cold. He says he sounds like Robert Kennedy Jr. now. All right. Well, at least you're in with the cabinet in. SWL 69. Kenny, I see you. Let me get you checked in right now before I scroll you off the page. Hope you guys are doing okay, having good weather, doing good stuff out there in Tulsa. Let's see. It's been since 1985. Just before we started the Old Tube Radio Network, I was out in Tulsa for a bowling tournament. I probably told you that already, didn't I? Let's go to, I see Mr. OBP. And Kurt found the Echolink link. Perfect. Oh, SWL 31. Robert and Teresa, I'll get you guys in now. I see you. You're coming up on the page. No problem there. Just checking the video links to make sure I didn't bypass anybody. I hear some audio leaking through. I think we've got somebody's got their phone open. And JR, what channel? We are on channel 11. That's 27085, and we are in Central California. So unless you're close by, you probably won't hear us unless we get some E-skip running up and down the West Coast. Had lots of skip today, and as soon as the sun goes down, it is out of there. The sunspot numbers are okay, but not great. Hello to Al. Hello to Doug. Thanks for joining us. Mud Bucket, UDX 483, and Peter's also joining us as well. Chesaroy, thank you. I want to make sure. Yeah, Kurt, you found it. No problem. And there's Gary. All right, I'm finally re-scrolled back down. 28 checking in with the glazed donut and chocolate milk. Now, there you go. If I'm going to have some sugar, that's my kind right there. Maybe not a glazed donut, but the chocolate milk for sure. Over ice. So much for the big storm. Most of it went up north. Yes, it did. I talked to somebody in Lake Almanor. There's lots of snow up there, Shasta up in that area. But I do believe that coming up in a couple of days, we'll get the next blast coming straight through. A directed net roll call. We'll go back to page 2 and see what's going on. Foxman 362, thanks for joining us. So we called 28. 29, I got a proxy check-in for Mr. Loner. We've got 30, SWL 30, Robert and Teresa have checked in. Let's try SWL 31. And, I'm sorry, yeah, 30 and 31 both checked in. If I would look at my page, I would know what to do. SWL 32. Shortwave listener 33. That is me. And Moocher. Moocher chicken. Say hi, Moocher. Okay, and then let's go to Jimmy and gang, SWL 34 out there near Chicago tonight. I was so busy I didn't get a chance to go on the various Facebook pages that Jimmy takes care of and say hi to everybody. I'll do that ex post facto here. Let's go and see if Mr. Bill has checked in from beautiful, probably very cold Cheyenne, Wyoming. Don't see him yet. That doesn't mean he's not out there, so we'll get you checked in, Mr. Bill, if you're listening. SWL 30, that's SWL 35, SWL 36, SWL 37.
SWL 37 here, Dennis, and good evening.
Good evening. You're beaconing well into Midtown Fresno here tonight. Stay dry and have a good evening.
Trying. Watching cage fighting right now, but anyway, we're listening at this too.
Okay, I don't know. I don't think there's any... Is there a football game on tonight? Is football done until the Super Bowl? I don't know. But if I have to compete with cage wrestling, that'll be good enough for me. Anyway, thanks for checking in.
Fighting, not wrestling.
Or cage fighting, okay. In the wrestling, they go out of the cage. That's what we're doing here tonight. We're wrestling with the radios. Anyway, sounding good.
Yes.
And Tony, I like that. Where no Class D transmitters weigh less than 12 pounds. I wonder what's the smallest one we've got, like the Gonset G11s and the Heathkit. And I would, Joe, we're going to have to weigh that Hustler. It's only got 7 tubes. See if it checks in at like 12.5 pounds and makes the grade here. Let's see if Sam from Byron is out there. SWL 38. I'll give you a check in. SWL 39. SWL 40.
SWL 40, checking in from a dry Chinatown.
Dry and hopefully uneventful tonight.
So far, so good.
All right. I didn't hear any explosions when you keyed up, so I think we're doing well. SWL 41, Road Dog 507 out there in New York, of course, representing the Orange County REACT. That's REACT of Hudson Valley, New York, saying good evening to everyone. Likewise, a good evening to you. I see Randy in there. Let me jump down to 99 to give Radio Randy a check-in. I don't know if you guys got any rain out there. The storm, at least coming through here, wasn't that big. But the next one coming up is supposed to be a little bit larger. But we will get you checked in. I'm looking for you on the page here, and maybe we will be able to catch you on the HF ESSB two-way coming up. Hope you're enjoying the radios. Back over to SWL 42. Shortwave listener 43. SWL 44. I'm going to check Ray. He sounded really good last night. I was going to try and contact him after the Ditch Bank sideband net, and then something came up and I couldn't get back. But boy, he was coming in here really loud last night. So Ray, if you're listening, I got you checked in. SWL 45, Paul and Kelly, you're out there listening, no doubt, in beautiful North Fork. Hope to hear you on the air soon. I hope you're having a great week and a weekend. And as always, one of the stations, SWL 45, he has many radios, probably a ton. He's probably got a ton of tube radios out there at the sites. Checked in many. So we're looking forward to getting him back on the air again. Let's go to shortwave listener 46.
AK6 WRW 79 checking in.
And we've got a crossband check-in where I to find the microphonium. I think this is the right microphonium for a crossband check-in. Hello, radio. I hear you, KB6GFT.
Thank you, sir. KK6 WRW.
All right, sounding good in the neighborhood. Thanks for checking in, KB6GFT. All right, that's what Vox will do for you. Let's go over to SWL 47.
Well, good evening from the radio lounge. This is SWL 47 without a Vox, but we're having a delightful time listening to everyone. And now we're kind of thinking, a short time ago, cage fighting was mentioned. Then, of course, the discussion over here kind of moves to pro wrestling. And I know you had mentioned many years ago that during some barbecues that were kind of thrown on by the old Tube gang, there at one point in time, I guess there was a Tube radio tossing contest. So I'm thinking, boy, that would be kind of interesting. It does kind of make me sick to my stomach thinking about it. But boy, that would be really interesting to throw a couple really big guys like Andre the Giant size, and watch them chucking really heavy vacuum tube radios at each other. Hey, maybe even pull out a hot vacuum tube and hold it up, like that guy from Indiana Jones and that glowing fire poker. Boy, that would make this for some really good entertainment.
Yeah, we need some good entertainment. I will try to find. I've got photos. I do believe I have photos from that. The old book that we had of the picnics from the late 80s, I think. If I can find that, I'll bring it up and show some of that. I think someone, that's before there were cell phone cameras. So if somebody had to bring their Polaroid Swinger, their Brownie, to take photos and then take them over to the drugstore and have them developed. So if I can find those, I'll bring them. See if we got any of the old Tube radio toss. I think we took, I don't even know what it was, took something very old and wrapped it with duct tape so if it landed on somebody, it wouldn't puncture them. But yeah, we did that, and it was a good time. And probably were we to have some participants, as you just mentioned, we were at Woodward Park, they would have tossed them over the kiosk and into the lake or whatever they have over there. Anyway, you are sounding good, and we do have you checked in over.
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate it. And I would just hate to see that because old Tube radio cruelty, not a good thing. But thanks anyways. And I don't know if you feel like doing this. My eyes are slamming shut as they always do, and I always feel bad going to sleep without a radio in. So if you feel so inclined, please feel free to maybe add a Robin 123B to the list, if you feel like it. On that, back to you, sir, 73.
All right, I will make a note that we have the ever-popular Robin T123B from yourself, SWL 47, and I'll get it on the list because you never know, there might be some other Robins checking in. You might just put them over the top. So sounding good, and thanks for stopping by.
Thank you.
SWL 48, directed net roll call. That's Sammy. I'm going to get him checked in. I think he was around last night on old Radio 9. SWL 49, looking, of course, for Smitty and Sweet Country Mama. I might play it tonight. They don't show up. I think I've got what we call a blast from the past on some recorded audio, so might be able to play. And I don't know what radio he's checking in, but it's probably from 10 years ago. We'll find out. And let's go to SWL 51. Dave from Sangertown got checked in early. SWL 52. See if Aaron is still out there. I heard him earlier.
Yeah, good evening, Dennis, and good evening to the SWLs. SWL 52 here behind the golden microphone and out in West Fresno.
All right, sounding good in West Fresno. It's always tough. I've got trees in the way, and I'm down in a hole or something. But you put in a good signal on the radio, good audio, and thanks for stopping by and hanging out and putting on the big antenna, right? The bigger elements. He had to extend his elements there from 1.2 to come down here to 27 megs.
Yeah, the antennas are a lot bigger down here. But that's okay. It's all about the physics.
Yeah, I'm waiting for Step IR to make their UHF SHF antenna. It's a little tiny step-iron with the little trombone elements that work that way. That'd be you could probably put a big one up in the air.
Oh, probably could. All righty, Dennis. We'll catch you later.
All right, thanks for joining us. The Old Tube Radio Network. The radio is coming up. SWL 53. Bob checked in earlier, moments ago. We've got a proxy check-in for SWL 54 and up the hill to SWL 55.
55, checking in.
All right, did you guys get any snow up there? It was pretty warm, right? No snow yet, right?
Just warm and wet. No snow. It's not cold enough yet. Maybe, hopefully tonight, maybe in the morning.
Yeah, I think in the next couple of days, whatever's coming in is going to drop some temperatures. So we will see. I've seen a picture of the snow they're getting up in Northern California, and there's a lot of it. All right, thanks for checking in.
Thanks, Dennis. Missed you last week because of the lightning. It was deafening up here.
Whoa, all right. Well, yeah, better safe than sorry, so I'm glad that you you took the safe route, and it looks like somebody proxied you in anyway, so that's good.
Thanks.
Indeed. All right, speaking of proxied in, let's take the proxy for SWL5 off, and as it says right above my head, check in Levon, SWL5, probably from his appearance over at Old Radio Night. We see you there. I will also put the mark back in for SWL 56 just for kicks on the early check-in over to SWL 57. I want to say hello, I want to say a yo, right, to Baba Booey. Thanks for jumping in. Also, Radio Randy saying to get down. No, you key down to key up your transmitter. I think that's the way it goes. Frank from Yellow Springs, Ohio, checking in. Thanks for Frank. Frank D1, looking good. Here on the Old Tube Radio Network. And Tony, I agree. Wishing a ham radio antenna manufacturers would make a variant of a super scanner. What's the closest thing? It's like the cobweb, the spider antenna, but you still need a rotor for it. I mean, they made it compact with various bands, but you still have to have a rotor. So possibly like Isotron, they can make these mono band. Although I don't know how it would work. Can you imagine the element size on a 40 meter? Well, I mean, you've got a 40 meter vertical. Maybe they could do the, vertical elements. It'd be 14, 20 feet, stack them around and position them so you get some gain. Probably unless you're at 15 meters, 20 meters or above, it'd be a pretty ginormous antenna. But you never know. You never know what good things can happen. But the spider, the antennas, are the ones that everybody seems to be liking. Let's go to SWL 58. SWL 59, where are you, Uncle Hairball? Did I miss you earlier on my list of lists? That's possible, I don't know. So I will keep an eye out. Let's go to SWL 60.
Thank you, Dennis. Evening time to all the fellas out there on the band. SWL 60 checking in from Fresno, Cal.
That's, let's see, FRES capital M capital O. So looking good, Joe, and the X is on the square.
Thank you much, Dennis.
And Randy, I will check into that probably later this year. See if there's a spot for when I reconfigure the room here. See if there's some spots for a DMR. Get everything. Get the D-Star. I've got the Fusion, the DMR. I'll have so many microphoniums from which to choose. I'll probably I'll hide under the table with Moocher because I won't know what to do. SWL 61, Dino checked in earlier. Let's go to SWL 62. Shortwave listener 63. Where is that guy from North Georgia tonight? SWL 64, Craig, out of Wisconsin. Put an X in the square. Yeah, I've check-ins from all over the world. We'd never end up getting to the radio. So I'd have to start at 5 o'clock. SWL 65. Boy, there's some static going on. Who is joining us tonight. What is that? It is, I don't even know where this is. Bayshore, New York. And somebody is joining us from Chechnya, believe it or not. So if you are understanding my language, hello to the Chechnyan station, where it is 5:40 in the morning in the AM and 28 degrees Fahrenheit. It's Ústí nad Orlicí, a town in the Perodupsy region of the Czech Republic. It has about 14,000 inhabitants. The historic town center is well preserved and is protected by law as an urban monument. So thanks for joining us, the Old Tube Radio Network here on the west coast of the United States. And we will be checking in some of the very early tube-style radios for Citizen Band here in the USA. So stay tuned for that. SWL 67. Let me get back to the right page here, Bill, but I did see you, if I could grab the right mouse, I did see you on there. Right now, might get snow. Wow, what is the elevation there? Are you up at like 1,500 feet? I don't know what is it, like Medford and Ashland, and I know sometimes they get snow, but I think you're a little bit farther north than that. I could be wrong. Anyway, Canby is checked in, snow-free, but maybe soon not to be. SWL 68, Michael got an early check-in. SWL 69, Kenny also got an early check-in from Tulsa. Kenny, if you're still listening and watching, hello to you. Up the hill we go to SWL 70. Kind of quiet. Sometimes my receiver just goes quiet. Let me jump over it because Richard is in Wild Wildemore, where it's 59 degrees and probably not snowing, of course, and not raining yet. So, Rich, we got you checked in, SWL 78. Thanks. Since I'm on the 70 row, I wanted to do that. Let's go to SWL 71, Stan. See if Stan is in. I'm refreshing the comments. Of course, Stan from Dallas, Georgia. I was not on HF, but a little bit today, so I don't know what kind of radio shenanigans were going on. Don't see Stan yet. He will probably be checking in, so I will get him checked in, and we'll get the scoop and find out what's going on. SWL 72. SWL 73. Somebody seeks a proxy for John, which I will do. SWL 74 checked in via the crossband. SWL 75. That is 356 BYU. Hello, radio. And I'll say hello. Speaking of hello radio, the boat anchor CB radio repair. That's the kind of stuff we need around here. Those boat anchor radios that are 12 pounds or more. That'll keep your boat from from floating away. Just throw something over to the side. Let's go to SWL 76. SWL 77. I get a check-in for 1017. And just a reminder, you're tuned in, watching, listening to the Old Tube Radio Network. On the air live here in Central California on Channel 11, 27085, and we will be talking about, and having some of those vintage old CB radios back from 1958 when the FCC banged the gavel and said, you know that 11 meters that's on your Viking Valiant? You got to be 5-watt DC input Class D Citizen Radio service, and you license the radio. You don't license you. So we'll be checking in with some of those radios tonight. Sort of some good stuff, like old cars. You know, fins and chrome. It's 1958, 5960. We're putting tail fins on the radio. So 77 is checked in. This is the roll call. You don't have to have any numbers or any special stuff. There's no secret handshake to get in here. The Old Tube Radio Network. Glad to have you around. My name is Dennis, one of the net controllers, and I looked at an ad. I looked at one of those I said, how should I dress when we put on the video, when we finally put pictures to radio, which is a bad idea. And I looked at one of those radio ads back in the day, and this is how everybody dressed, according to the pictures, when you were on your radio. You had a tie. I don't have a pipe. I'm not smoking a pipe. You had a tie, and you looked good. You dressed up to get on the radio. Who would have thunk? 78 is checked in. 79, we got you checked in if you're still out there. SWL 80. And let me see if I can find the thing I'm looking for. It should be this. Let me see if it's coming through on the yeah.
27.085 OTR channel 11.
Whoopee. I want to say hello to Steve Areno from the Bob and Steve show. He said he had about, okay. Well, maybe that explains. It said it had about a group of 30 people on 80 meters a minute ago. Told them about the old tube radio. Many are talking about their CB days. Nice they're watching. All right, well, hang on. If you can hang on for another 20 minutes. We have some good radios coming in tonight, and some of them that you might have had or might have wanted. Some names you will remember just from the CB days, and some names you will remember from crossovers like Johnson and Hammerlin and Hallicrafters and Heathkit that made both. Some of them kind of secretive said, we're going to make that 11-meter stuff. Don't tell anybody. Don't tell QST. We're only putting in 7 tubes, but we're going to sell 1 million radios. There you go. Anyway, Steve, thanks for that. Pretty cool. So join us, won't you? Or listen in. If you're on the West Coast and you got 27085, we haven't had the short E-skim, the ducting going on. I don't think we'll have any tonight, but you never know. Sometimes we hear Oregon, Washington, 11, 10 meters open. So you see the 10-meter beacons, come on down. Check us out. Let's go over to SWL 81. SWL 82.
82, checking in from the Ditch Banks of Biola.
Always sounding good. It is impossible for that station, for Ron to put in a bad signal. Ron is a simple man. He's got a simple station, but it's a good, big, simple station. Also, the voice of the Ditch Banks sideband net on Friday evenings, 8 p.m. Pacific time on 27365, where you two get on your, what do the AM guys say? To get on your slop bucket radio, but we don't say that. To get on your silly sideband radio and check in. Sounded good last night, as always. So thanks for doing that, Nat.
All right, Dennis, and thanks for putting on quite a show tonight. Checking in all the radios and having all that equipment set up, and sure do appreciate it. 82 from the Ditch Banks of Biola. Good evening.
Yeah, it's more stuff to break. I came in early tonight, got everything set up, and then right at the last point, one of the DI box things went out, and I was pulling cables and doing all that stuff again. So keep it simple. Take the microphone out of the box, plug it in, get your 7-tube radio, and key up, or is it key down? Whatever it is to get on the air. Sounding good. Thanks for checking in. Let's go to Ohio for SWL 83. I'm checking my list. I'm like Santa Claus. I'm checking all the lists and checking it twice tonight. Let's go to the quad split here. SWL 84, SWL 86, 87, and 88. And of course, that is Cheerios Kid. Jerry does he's the voice, and he runs an old tube radio. He runs the Drake equipment, I believe, on 7204 here on the West Coast on that noontime net. You might hear Jerry on that. So we've got him checked in, and of course, Mountain Maid, Tandy Girl, and Snowy Owl all checked in here. It's looking good. Let's go to shortwave listener 89, SWL 90, and see if Mr. Felix is around. Joining us late tonight from out near the Bronx somewhere. I've never been there. I've never been to New York. I'll have to go there on, like, when that, sometime. Just go there and just look up and look around like some guy from the West Coast looking for palm trees. No, you're in New York. SWL 91. Hello, Felix. And he's saying hello to all the SWL and OTR operators. There's a few of us out there, and some of you joining us from frequencies near and far out. Let's go to SWL 92. If Mr. Roman is joining us tonight, SWL 93. Shortwave listener 95. Yeah, I think I've got, there's some audio leaking through. But we've got a big studio. I'm just, they put me in the corner. They said, go do the OTR thing. The green room is out there. They're having a party. They said, go sit in the chair for a couple hours. Let's go to SWL 97. See if Boston is listening to us. SES tonight. Jim is out there tuning us in. I don't know if you're listening, watching. I keep forgetting there's pictures going on. So hopefully you have just a little tiny screen. Your phone up to your eye. I said, yeah, that's pretty good. Waiting for those radios to show up. Thanks, Jim. Let's go to SWL 98. What's Tracy doing? Somebody said make sure Tracy gets checked in. So probably it should be out there, but I'll put an X in the square. 99, Radio Randy in moments ago. Might catch, there's had some 40-meter guys on, or 75-meter guys. Randy's got a big station. He's in Arizona. So I don't know what frequency Randy is on tonight, but he might be able to catch some of you guys if you're tuning in from the Midwest or the East Coast if 75 opens up. So Randy, if you're out there, get on 75. Actually, get on 40. He's got a big beam for 40 meters. He will hear all you guys. Speaking of which, I'm going to go see if I've got this fired up. Let's see. Yeah, that's working. We'll go over to the Echo link. We got a couple of stations. I want to quickly say hello to everybody. But first we will get Tony, SWL 100. And where is my device here? Yeah, there you go. KD4BAO, KB6GFD, over. Got to turn the transmitter off to transmit.
Hey, good evening, Dennis. Please check in SWL 100. Sounded good tonight. Back to net control, KD4BAO.
All right, Tony, very good. Tony is our purveyor of TOTA. That's Tubes on the Air, coming up wherever you might be. Getting your 5-watt DC input Class D radios fired up. Thanks, Tony. Sounding good as always. And thanks for keeping the tubes going, KB6GFD. Now, let's see, Albert. Albert, let's see if you're there. KI6CBA, what is going on out that way? KB6GFD listening, over. On the Echo link, see if we get a couple of stations. See if anybody's listening. Also, we know what I'd like to do if Albert is not there. If Albert is not there, let's try Kurt Newley on the general ham bands with a stroke AG. Although you've probably got official W9KEC. Hello, Kurt from Kokomo, KB6GFD. Go ahead.
Yeah, KB6GFD and the net. This is Whiskey 9 Kilo Echo Charlie, SWL 96 from beautiful, picturesque Kokomo, Indiana, affectionately known as Stoplight City. Thanks for running the net, Dennis. I've had a blast every week that I've checked in, and we'll turn it back over to you. Thanks again, 7-3, W9KEC, SWL 96.
All right, sounding good. Big audio on the Echo link, and maybe catch you, I don't know what kind of frequencies you got, but we'll talk more about that. Maybe catch you on 40, 15, or 20. Where you're at, we can get all of those. So good stuff. Thanks for stopping by in 73, KB6GFD. And I want to do one more. I think it's Keith, KW4SR. You know, doggone it, it was a couple weeks ago. I heard the guys talking to you. I could barely hear you, and I'm thinking, I know that call. Anyway, take a transmission before you jump out. KW4SR, KB6GFD. See if he's got the...
Okay. Now it looks like it's working.
Yeah.
I hope you're hearing me. Good to hear you again. KW4SR.
Yeah, it's working. I heard the audio. Some of your buddies, and we were on, obviously, but I've been on 40, and I don't remember the frequency, but I got back to them, but you had already signed. It might have got to you, but sometimes, we'll check you on 40. Maybe later on tonight. I don't know. I'll just see what the weather's like. I think my antenna's working. Anyway, I'm glad you stopped by. You're sounding good. We'll catch you on the band somewhere. The Old Tube Radio Network, back to the roll call, 73, KB6GFD. All right, busy on the Echo link tonight. Not bad. 100 is in. That takes us to SWL 102. John has been saying now he's going to get back to the roll call pretty soon. And checking in. Thanks. Thanks, John, for being patient out there in Arkansas. Looking good here on the Old Tube Radio Network. Real radios are going to be glowing in the dark soon. Let's go to shortwave listener 103. Joey, are you out there in South Carolina? And Dave, that's the way it works on 40. If it's during the day, if it's daylight, you're going to hear, if you're an hour away from Brisbane, you're going to hear them. If the sun goes down, and you can peg it. I mean, you will hear the stations come up like 20 over, and in 20 seconds they'll be gone as the band widens out. So if the sun is down, who knows who you might be hearing tonight. You're on the right frequency. You'll probably hear us on the States. Let's go to SWL 109, Mr. Crawdad.
Good evening, Dennis. Crawdad 109 checking in.
109 checking in from up on the hill, beaconing down to Midtown. Sounding good as always. Thanks for jumping into the radio room to, as they say on 11 meters, wave a hand. We've got your check-in.
Thank you, Dennis, and you're sounding good tonight.
All right, I'm trying to look good, but I'm trying to sound good as well. Thanks. When you put pictures on the radio, you also, look nice as well. Let's go to SWL 110. And 00 says we need one more meter. Wait a minute, we need it. We need it right there, and that square right there is where we need the meter. Get rid of that guy. Let's go to SWL 111. Maybe we need a moocher cam, something like that. Bob checked in early. He was the one that said that my audio sounded good once I got it fixed. So 111 is checked in. Let's go to SWL 113. Let's head out to around the corner, I think, down the street here. SWL 114.
114, checking in.
Sounding good as always. I've got the official X in the square, and thanks for joining us.
Thank you for the X in the square, Dennis.
All right. Wayne is saying if I could only get a dime for every X in the square that I have on these OTR sheets since 1980, I could go out and buy myself and my wife would buy a nice dinner. Were I to have dimes to give everybody who's checked in for the last almost 40 years. Can you believe it? Let's go to SWL 128. I was checking here, refreshing my screens to see if Fairfax, Virginia, if John, who is himself an SWL of sorts, of note, from the early popular electronics days. John is in there, so from about an hour ago. John, we've got you checked in 128. Over to SWL 131. Shortwave listener 133. And hello, Van Man. I think I saw you jump in. What am I showing? Warfield, Kentucky. Who other Kentucky? That's got to be you. Warfield's probably down the road a piece. Anyway, Van Man is in. Let's go to SWL 135. And I think I'm supposed to get a proxy for Mr. Green Arrow, which I will do. If you're listening, Cliff, you're checked in.
Hello, verbally checking in.
All right, we got the verbally check-in, and I've got the virtually X in the square. And the sunspot activity. You know what? Let me do a quick check. I think the A index was way the heck up there. Yeah, A is at 26, which isn't good. K is at 3, which is not so good. The solar flux 188 and the sunspot at 145, which should be good. Come on, we're the top of solar cycle 25, but sometimes the numbers don't add up the way they want them to. I'm a little disappointed in 10 meters. I have not done hardly any AM activity. Last 2 years, 3 years ago, the 10 AM was roaring in. Now we're at the top of the cycle. It seems like there's not a lot of stations. Of course, I'm not running a KW1 either. Let's go to SWL 137. See if Tony is out there. SWL 145.
Tony's way out there. Thanks, Dennis. 145 checked in.
Hey, Tony, thanks for jumping in. Way out there and looking good. I believe you sent me the questions. We will probably jump into those. In fact, maybe we'll jump into them right now. Let me see if I can find them. Here they are. Friday's questions. Tony is one of the many things he does is on a couple of days of the week, I think, or at least on Friday mornings, works on the Early Risers Net. Questions he asks are always radio related, and he passes them along to us. So let's see what we got quickly. What were two of the more popular tubes, right up our alley here, used in amateur transmitters during the 1930s and 1940s? All right, long before Class D. Well, what were two of the more popular tubes in the 30s and 40s? Was it the 6146 and the 12BY7, the 2 Echo 26 or the 6V6, the 6CL6 and the 807? Well, now we're getting somebody here. Or the 6L6 and the 807. Well, I know what my answer is going to be. It's got to be something with an 807. But the answer is the 6L6 and the 807. The 807s, I don't think we were allowed to put an 807 into 11-meter radio, but the 6L6s, in fact, if you're watching at oldtuberadio.net, see that tube right there that's glowing because we were on the air? When we're not on the air, the tube does not glow, as per instructions. And be careful if you touch it. That should be a 6L6 glass something, but that is a 6L6, and they are big enough to use. Some of the guys on the Buddy basses would modify that Buddy bass with a 6L6. You'd have to take the top off because it didn't fit. But I've never heard anybody modifying their radios with an 807. All right, question number 2. Before solid-state voltage regulators, let's try this again. Before solid-state voltage regulators tubes were used, they were filled with gas for various voltages. What were the common gases used in those tubes? Oh, I don't know this. So rectifier tubes. Look in your old radio. Look through the convection cooling vents. We don't have fans. And turn that thing on and see what color is glowing in your voltage regulator tube. Some of you would have those on there. The answer, there's not a multiple choice on this, helium, argon, and neon. So those are the ones that are blue. What's the one that glows blue? Helium, argon, and neon. That would be more orangey, I think, but that's the gas. I guess those tubes are okay to have gas, right? I thought gas was bad in a tube. But anyway, that's the stuff going on. Thanks, Tony, for those. Some good questions tonight. And Richard, you got neon, argon. Yeah. So Richard got that one for sure. He's probably got a couple of voltage regulator tubes in there. And the OA2. What's the other one? A 5BY7 or 5 something? I don't know. There are probably a couple of the early Helicrafters CB radios have the OA2. All right, let me get back to the net here, or else we will never check in any radios. 103, Joey, I see you. No problem. Let me get you checked in here. SWL 103. Looking good. We stopped at Tony. SWL 147. Neil, are you there? I will check back in the list. Maybe I missed you, but I'm gonna get you checked in out there in Kakalaki in the Sandhills. 147 usually gets the report. The AO2, the OB2. Thank you, Jim. Let's go to. Why am I not hearing any receiver here? All right, just got quiet. Quiet is a good thing. Let's go to shortwave listener 188, Bobby.
Good evening time, Dennis. Good evening time to all SWLs. 188 checking in.
All right, Bobby, thanks for being patient. Probably thought we'd never get to you, but you're sounding good here in the neighborhood. Thanks for checking in.
10-4 evening time. Love listening in.
All right, the old Tube Radio Network, 195 up in Course Gold. Jim, we got him checked in earlier, and then we're listening for Jeff, Mr. Shockwave 226, and anybody else that I missed that wants to jump in. The old Tube Radio Network. All right, I'm going to jump out of the air chair. We're going to change some cables, get set up for the tube radios, and be right back. And doing what we do best, what we do, the whole reason for the old Tube Radio Network was to promote the use, distribute information, and get people on the air on their old radios, like convincing you to jump into the old 59 DeSoto and drive it down to the hamburger stand and let people say, ooh, doesn't that look nice? That's what we're going to do with the radios coming up in a few moments. You're listening to the old Tube Radio Network. Got a squeaky chair design. All right, go at the audio set. All right. All right, here goes nothing. The old Tube Radio Network.
You may not find us on your TV because in case you did not know, we're being brought to you by
OTR.
Brought to you by
27.085 megahertz.
Brought to you by RADI.
The old Tube Radio Network.
Your old Tube Radio Network. Checking out the REA meter here. I got the 532 back from Wheatstone, and they have a new program on the AM side. Looks like my asymmetrical modulation is at least giving me 105% or so on the modulation department, and that is a good thing. Let me get back to the control room. And we are looking good. Let me clear that, get the Rolodex ready for your tube radio check-ins. Say hello to all the ships at sea. I want to say hello to Frank 007 Extreme CB. I saw your text late about jumping in on, was it 40 meters or something? Where are you at right now? RV is headed southbound with the hammer down going to the Orlando Hamfest. Wow. All right, well, let me know. Maybe we can, like I said, jump in on a frequency. No, let's see, Orlando, maybe 40 meters at night, late at night. Or something during the day, of course, like 15 or 20, even 10. Should be able to hear Florida. All right, back to the radios. I'm going to hopefully not do a lot of talking for the next hour, but we will be jumping in and listening to the radios like we always do. The old Tube Radio Network, listening for any and all check-ins right now.
Check-ins or radios?
Both chickens and check-ins. Who was out there? I heard somebody.
Well, you heard me.
Oh, I heard you. All right, I heard about 3 stations, but since you're there, let me bring the radio list up and take a transmission. Tell us what you got. Over.
Okay. The Golden Beagle R68T68 by Browning Laboratories with the custom D104 from, I guess, Browning through a static with the Browning medallion on the back. Okay. I still have the list of radios from Chris, number 37, that he's selling. And then Ed, number 7, is selling some tube radios. So I'm going to put that out there. I have them, by the way. Let's see, we'll go a Robin T123B, no microphone right now, but a T123B Robin, a Heathkit GW22, a Johnson Messenger 223 with a Silver Eagle microphone going with it, a Browning R68T68, similar to what you're listening to, with a banana mic. How about that? And then a Golden Eagle Mark III SSB radio. The receiver has the high freq kit already in from the factory, and it's going with a Golden Eagle microphone. If you want to know how much, get a hold of me. You can do it through Dennis or me, and if you say, I can't put it out over the air, I'll do that. Okay, but not right now, because we want to do it quick.
All right, big list of stuff, radios available for sale to get on the air, right? Add to your collection, look cool. Still working after all these years. The old Tube Radio Network, some that has been definitely checked in many, many times on our list, and it'll be nice to hear them coming in again. So thanks for that list. Maybe we'll recap at the end of the list tonight if you want to do that. Also got you checked in on the Browning Golden Eagle Mark III SSB, the first radio to be called the Golden Eagle. And before the Mark II and the Mark III and the Mark IV, this was the Mark I or the Mark None. I don't know what you'd call it.
I call it my radio. Thank you.
All right, thank you for stopping by. And we'll, again, we'll revisit those probably near the end of the net. Thanks for jumping in. There was another station. There was other stations wanting to check in. The old Tube Radio Network listening for your Tube Radio check-ins.
25.
Hey, 25 out in Big Madeira. You're sounding good. You must have tweaked and peaked, as we say on the 11-meter business.
Yeah. Well, the standing waves was a lot better now, but and I hate to be redundant, but SWL 25 checking in on a Browning Golden Eagle Mark III SSB, which I'm surprised is still working. I know you know this radio. By the way, I'm talking on the banana mic made by Electro Voice, and still have the stand and everything, and all the meters look good, and it looks like the radio is happy. So, anyway, that's about it, Dennis. Back to you.
Not bad. The Browning Eagle Mark III, Golden Eagle, I should say, a Mark III SSB, separate transmitter, separate receiver, which was, for the day in ham radio, that was the thing, right? But you think it's 1972, and kind of a blast from the past. A very beautiful radio, built very well. They still hold up today. One of the most expensive radios at the time. 72 to 1976 when they went 40 channels. This one went by the wayside, and what? If you had about $700 or $800, if you weren't going to buy that used 1972 Pinto or that Maverick or the Chevy Nova, you take that $800 and buy yourself a brand new radio. Over.
Well, that's about what the price of cars were back then. Yeah, in 1970, you could buy. My roommate bought a brand new 1990 Camino with a 396 in it for not much more than that.
Well, that El Camino is probably not around these days, but the Browning, the better investment would have been the Mark III SSB, don't you think?
That's a great point, and you're right. That El Camino is long gone.
You are sounding good on the Mark III SSB. I think I have had the pleasure of sitting in the air chair in front of that radio and possibly doing the net. It is still working, hasn't missed a beat. I don't know what you do to keep it up and running. Maybe you just, what we suggest you do is once in a while, fire it up on the old Tube Radio Network. It is sounding good. Take another transmission. Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, absolutely, Dennis. This is the same radio that you and number one did from my locale. So, anyway, thanks for checking in, Dennis. Back to you.
Back to me in the studio. Thanks for jumping in. The old Tube Radio Network. Some of the classic radios, glowing in the dark, from, well, let's see, 1958 about 1978 when they weren't making them anymore, but when they made them in quite nice. This is the radio that everybody aspired to, but only a few could have, especially if you were in high school, like I was at the time. You weren't going to get a Browning Eagle, but you'd go over to somebody's house that had one. And so now it's nice to know that they are still out there and still obtainable, and probably for at least the same price you might have paid for them back in the day. 73, sounding good. The old Tube Radio Network. The Jingle Singers, where are you? Okay, Jingle Singers are saying they would like to promote what we do here, and so that will give whoever wants to check in, that'll give you time to make sure that you are grabbing the right microphone. You're listening to the old Tube Radio Network. Back in about 20 seconds.
How do you do? Ladies and gentlemen, greetings to you. Wherever you are, your favorite spot on the dial by far is known to you as
OTR, the Old Tube Radio Network.
The station for you is
OTR.
All right, the station for you, and maybe even you, the old Tube Radio Network. We're listening for radio number 3.
How about that OTR?
All right. That was a definitive thump in my headphoniums. Take a transmission, sounding good from way out to the east and the south, I think.
Yeah, hopefully you can hear me there, Dennis. I'm on the Robin T123 with amplified gray bass D104, and this is a radio that came from the collection of Ed. Thank you, Ed. Beautiful radio. He did a good job keeping it. I love the green paint on it, and I really like the Magic Eye tube.
All right, you totally fooled me. I was thinking that was the Buddy bass. I hope you watched the replay. The audio on that is something else. And when it keys up, or is it keys down? When you key the transmitter, it comes on with a big snap. Sounds like you're setting off fireworks or something. Back to you.
Yeah, well, I was kind of fooled myself. I was hoping I wasn't doubling with somebody. So, yeah, it's a radio I'm really looking forward to hearing the replay. And like I said, I dig the green paint. It's really a well thought out color scheme with the Magic Eye and the case and everything. Just a beautiful radio, and I'm really glad I was able to acquire this from Ed's collection there.
And the microphone, you told me what you were using. What's the microphone again?
It's a gray bass D104 amplified microphone.
All right, you got it set up good. Definitely would not add any more audio. It sounds good. I would imagine you're using it was a 6RE13. I don't remember the tube, but if you're looking at the video, that is a tube that is standing up inside the radio. They cut a hole in the front bezel so you can look right into the side of the tube. That checks your modulation, or it shows your modulation. So as you approach 100%, the bottom and the top illuminated areas should come to the center. Are you getting it close to that?
Oh yeah, it comes all the way to the center and touches. And another thing that's really cool is when you have the case off of this radio, it has a copper chassis, and that had my eye. I never even looked at the modulation tube, to be honest with you, because all I had to do was spray out the volume control, and then we were spraying. It has some extra channels on the back of it, so we were spraying that to try and get it to contact. And I've been fooling with so much stuff, I really can't remember what upper channels the radio had, but it did have a few in there. So back to you.
Yeah, there are ways, especially if they were synthesized crystals, to pull out something and give yourself another 5 channels or something elsewhere above 27255, which was channel 23. Sounds good. Boy, great audio. Sounds big again. The T123, this is before the Panasonic chassis, so this went out of production in 1972 when they went to the B model. But one of the last radios and later radios to have the magic eye tube for the modulation. It was more common on the earlier late 50s and 1960s radios, but a little more uncommon with this. It runs 12-volt DC, by the way, if you have the proper cable to plug in the back. I think there's 2 transistors in there somewhere that does the DC to DC conversion. And it looks like if you've got a Sam's CB35 book and you go to page 95, you will see inside and outside on the green machine. Robin T123. It sounds great. Take another transmission and you are radio number 3 tonight. So thanks to Ed for passing things along, and it's good to know that we're going to be listening to that, gosh, for the next 40 years probably.
Yeah, that's for sure. I'm hoping to keep things going, especially if we get Dirt Dog wound up into these tube radios. That'll really push it a long ways. I really appreciate this radio from Ed, and I am really looking forward to the replay. And thanks for the time tonight for this Robin T123.
All right, I'm going to have you take one more transmission. I didn't have the full screen, so that way, well, I'm going to see what your S meter is. I've got, as usually, the RF gain crank, but that radio is so loud, you would think it's 20 over, but it's not. Take another transmission.
Yeah, I am definitely looking forward to checking it out on those meters, and I'm looking at my meters here, and everything seems to be working great. That modulation tube's peaking out, so thanks for the time for this, Robin.
Thanks for bringing it by. I just wanted to show. I don't even have the receive preamp turn. I've got it's sort of like a negative preamp, so my noise level stays low. But about an S7, but above the noise, and sounding really good. It's got that tram buddy bass style audio going on, Robin. There's something that looks good and sounds good in the collection. Radio number 3, the Robin T123. And we're standing by, and there's plenty of space for more radios tonight. The Old Tube Radio Network.
Comment?
Comment, go ahead, over.
First time hearing the 123 from this side of the microphone on the radio. It sounded pretty darn good.
Yeah, when he keyed up, I thought, okay, here comes a tram or something. But that is great. He's got, however you guys have the modulation set on that, it's great.
Well, I'm sure I'm glad that someone's going to get the enjoyment out of that. I'm glad to hear it.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Ed. I sure appreciate it.
Good deals, man. 7-3.
And you are listening to the Old Tube Radio Network.
How do you do? Ladies and gentlemen, greetings to you. Wherever you are, the friendliest nation for you by far is known to all and
OTR, the Old Tube Radio Network.
The station for you is
OTR.
Listening for radio number 4.
60.
60. Hello, radio. Hello, Joe. Are you sitting in the air chair tonight?
You know, about this time we are sitting. Yes, sir. Well, we're right in the control seat, they should say. Yeah, we're sitting down and ready to go. Dennis, I'd like to check in my Robin T123B.
Okay, well, a good juxtaposition, because we go from the Robin T123, and then it turns to 1972, and Robin says, oh, we got the Panasonic chassis. It's plate modulated. It's possibly a little bit newer. It probably sounds as good. Let me see if I can get a shot of the other green machine. They kept the color, but quite a bit of difference. This is definitely not the same radio made over. This is another picture from Cliff's collection, 135. Top of the line for the Panasonic 2 chassis with all the lights, external speaker in the PA, and 23 channels. And I'm not sure you said yours may have some extra channels on it too if you flip a switch.
Yeah, most definitely, Dennis. Extra channels. It is a full-featured radio. Plenty of lights. Looks like a runway down an airstrip. Plenty of lights. I noticed the top is a dark green, and I'm wondering if that wasn't a painted job, because the radio itself is like a sage, maybe like a sage color in the front. The knobs also, but the top is green, and it looks like they had been painted or sprayed on, but they did a pretty good job on it. The radio itself is in very good condition. A lot of radios on the lower part of the radio, the base of the radio, there's sometimes a little rust going on there. This one is very clean, resembles the top of the radio. No rust anywhere. 11 tubes, Dennis, 11 tubes, and I should say a D104 desk mic, powered desk mic.
Sounding good. I've got a full-on front screen. It's still got the green, case is green, and then in theory, and they did this with their 240D as well on the models, if the center of the knobs, if you've got the original knobs, they should all be sort of color coordinated in the center circle there, over.
Oh yeah, the 4 knobs on the bottom are, they also have that pattern going on in the inside of the knob, which is very nice. And doggone it, like I said, you know, we mentioned as far as the rust is okay. I mean, there's no damage on the Robin itself. I was going to say I'm still confused on the color, what color that really is on the front of the radio. But I think we mentioned already it's 11 tubes. It has extra channels. You set the little switches that it has in another position there, and you can get about 9 more channels, starting from about channel 1 to 35.
Yeah, back in the day, now it doesn't run sideband, but there was a lot of AM activity up there, all the way up to 30-something. Channel 16 was the sideband channel because you had that extra RC channel below where you could kind of slide in and out. Added a picture with the box. Robin International Incorporated, model T123B. It says 5-watt, 22-channel citizen band radio. Probably weighed about 20 pounds with all the stuff in there. And it says on the box, the looks and performance of tomorrow by the designers and engineers of today. Little did they know that tomorrow would be, let's see, what is this, 1973, 74, 75, 76? Give it like what, 50 years? Come on. And tomorrow is now, and it's still sounding good, over.
Oh, Dennis, it works nice too. It sounds good. It makes you sound good. Everything is operable on the face of the radio. It has a bass full knob on it, so you can kind of change the bass on it. It's about 11 watts peak, a 0 meter on the back with a large PA jack. I thought that was for headphones. That's a good sized jack for PA.
Probably that was the jack they used in the day. There wasn't a lot of the RCA or the mini plugs like the 0.35 millimeter. That was back 50 years ago. That kind of wasn't a common thing. But the quarter-inch phono plug for sure. The microphone that came with the radio, I'm going to pan up here so you can see, it was very small considering what Sonar used to put in with their radios. And it may also have, these went mobile as well as in like the T123 to 123B, so you might even have a mobile bracket with it if you had the right power cable. 12-volt DC, of course. It's 17 pounds, 11 tubes, 2 transistors. What's the audio tube? 12AX7 is why they sound good. And I think it runs a 6BQ5 for some RF output. Sounds good. Back to you for transmission. And the Robins are looking. If you're a Robin fan, tonight is your night. Over.
Well, I hope this, I know the Robin fans are probably tickled listening to, I know Sean out there, he sounded great. I loved it. And the rare mic that it has, that little mic that it has, it's really about as rare as the radio. Hard to imagine that little mic is getting hard to find. Okay, Dennis, thanks a whole lot there, and we'll let the channel rock.
Indeed. Radio number 4. I had to look at my list. The Robin T123 Bravo. 1972 to 1976. And 76, you couldn't make a 23-channel radio anymore. The FCC said no. And so that's why they stopped making them. Otherwise, they might still be around. If you go to oldtuberadio.com, looks like there's an operator's manual as a PDF. It looks like there's a schematic and a PDF. So if you got one or want to find out more about it, that's one way to look them up. The Old Tube Radio Network, Real Radio's glowing in the dark. The Jingle Singers are feeling good tonight, and they are gathering around the RCA 44 ribbon microphonium with this to say.
How do you do? Ladies and gentlemen, greetings to you, wherever you are. For music and the latest news from home and from afar, the station for you is
OTR, Old Tube Radio.
The station for you is
OTR.
And we're listening for radio number 5.
14.
14 with 5. I know we add or multiply on that one. Take a transmission sounding good. It's still hanging in there. Over.
Yeah, I wanted to compare this radio to that Robin because I just listened to the replay. So from one magic eye to another, now we have the Dimco satellite, and it is a 5-piece. Harvey put this radio together. It took him several years to get all the pieces acquired and get it on to me. And then I have also got the Dimco Bandalizer that has a crystal checker that does not work because we tried it the other day. I couldn't get that to work, but it does have a nifty little antenna to run around and sense your signal strength. I guess you would carry it outside or something. It's on a amplified D104 microphone, and I do have the Dimco modulator as well.
All the pieces. So let me check, because there was a couple of different versions of satellite. I always pull up the wrong one. There was a CB1, CB1A. The CB1A was the one with the silver fronts. Satellite, let's see, the CB1, the other one, that's the one that's got, I think this is the right one. I'm going to throw that. That's got the Magic Eye tube in the transmitter?
Yeah, that's correct. The Magic Eye tube on this radio is sideways, and it's about the same size, I would say. It does come all the way almost to the center, but it does not close on the Dimco satellite. And it kind of makes a little bit of noise, too. I've noticed if you listen up there real closely, you can hear, I don't know if it's that tube in particular, but a little bit of chatter in there.
A little bit. On my Regency, used to do that. You could hear that tube vibrate if you put the audio in there. hear that thing talking back to you. Sometimes you get a little blue glow as well. I don't know if that's a bad thing. That's the bad kind of gas. We talked about the kind of gas that's supposed to be in your tubes, but some of those have a bad type. So they took, I guess they didn't have the real estate to go up. So they went side to side on that 6RE13. So as long as your two pieces of illumination come together in the center, you're doing well. So here we go. Putting the Brownings to shame, right? We've got a transmitter, we've got a receiver, we've got a separate speaker, which I think is actually a good idea. Make your a little bit more room. Don't have the speaker in a hot case. You can make it bigger. It's going to take more room in the radio. And then they added the Demco modulator, which was a standalone unit that could be purchased separately and used with any radio. I think it had 2 tubes in there. So you could plug any microphone and then wire it up for any radio. But they, of course, they made it match with the knobs and everything on that, on the Demco satellite. And then you've got the other piece as well. Sounding good. So, yeah, take another transmission so you can do the A-B comparison. I'll put up the S meter as well. Over.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to do. And I was really impressed with the Robin. So I've always loved the tone that this Demco satellite has, so I'd like to compare the two. And thanks for the time tonight for this Demco satellite.
It's nice. So, yeah, that takes up some radio real estate. That's when you have to start getting multiple shelves, or maybe one of those, like, roll-around, what are the wire, silver wire racks. I saw one at Costco. It's like $100. It's got wheels. I'm thinking, that would be good. That would be good for radio. So it would store a couple 100 pounds. You can kind of roll it around wherever you wanted to. So, good. Hello, 223 Skidoo. Hello, radio. We'll get you checked in. Rumor has it that when you came in the door here, you were followed by the Espresso Trucking Company. So if they don't leave, we may have to entertain them tonight before we get out of here. You are looking and sounding good with radio number, I didn't even write it down yet. I'm so excited to see it. Radio number 5 with the, we'll call it the Demco satellite. Let me go with the full... Let me see, they call it the satellite. They just call it a satellite. They also spell it their own special way with one L. So that's how you know it's a Demco. And Boat Anchor CB radio repair. All right, there it is. Here's a signal report. He says he heard the Robin more than the Demco in Lindsay. So that could be a little bit of power output. I had the signal, the S meter up, but because of the AGC going on, it was hard to tell. And I don't remember if you were another couple of dB bigger on the 2. The other thing would be if you're in the noise, then it's the audio. It's all about the audio coming in.
Well, that's a pretty good report right there.
Absolutely. Lindsay, sounding good. Lindsay, what do they say? What did Al Radke used to say? It's a good town and a great olive or something like that. And 23 Skidoo says, AI says CB radios with magic I-tubes are essentially non-existent. We'll have to patch them in here to the old Tube Radio Network. Jingle singers are saying, talk about non-existent. Okay, here we go.
How do you do? Ladies and gentlemen, greetings to you. Wherever you are, your favorite spot on the dial by far is known to you as
OTR, the Old Tube Radio Network.
The station for you is
OTR.
You know, I kind of like how they have the static in there. They have a special machine that puts the static in, so it makes it sound like it's coming off a record or something. The Old Tube Radio Network, real radio's glowing in the dark. My name is Dennis Net Control, at least one of the net controllers. We've been doing this for almost 40 years. Can you believe it? On a Saturday evening, here in the Central Valley of California. Get on the air night is basically what it is. Get your drive your tube radios around the block. We're on channel 11, 27085 in Central California, beaconing at oldtuberadio.net, where there is a, can you believe it? There's a little video thing going on as well. But the most important thing is we are listening for your radios. And I agree. Why did Browning never delve into, and Harvey, if you're listening, did Browning ever have a radio with a magic eye tube? Maybe they didn't have room for another tube. Or, they really loved their meters. That's what I'm thinking. Browning was big. They were the first ones to put the big meters on the radio, so maybe that's why. They had a meter on the transmitter, meter on the receiver, and it was switchable, so I'm thinking that's it. That was their claim. Is like, we don't need no stinking magic eye. We got this giant meter for you. All right, 1-4. Back at the microphonium. We're listening in. Take a transmission. I can hear you. You are probably about, let me get a picture, maybe 25% at most on the modulation. And when you peak it, I can hear it. So something is being attenuated here on the audio. Let me see if I can get a picture here with the radio. Take another transmission. Maybe it just didn't fire up right.
Okay, well, maybe it's working a little better this time. This radio has a funny name. It's Methuselah, and it was on that little tape, the dynamo tape or whatever you call it. They named this radio. It's a tiny radio. It doesn't weigh very much at all, and it's kind of a neat radio. No frills. It's about as simple as it gets. So hopefully, maybe it's working a little better now.
About the same. Got a decent signal to G11. Looking to see if I can get a picture. I know we got a picture showing the magic eye tube. And my Rolodex isn't coming up, so it's probably got to be this one, because Cliff really gave us... And there it is. There's what I'm looking for. Cliff gave us a nice picture with the magic eye tube. That's the other style of tube that was used in a lot of Zenith radios to not only show signal strength, like the Pac-Man, you have the two sides of the wedge come together, and you get full voltage in your signal. This one is used for the audio as well. Are you using? It shows a wired microphonium. The microphone's wired in. Are you using the wired-in microphone?
Yeah, it's a hard-wired-in microphone. Straight and like I said, the microphone looks like a waffle, and it has a hair trigger. You can barely hold this thing in your hand without it trying to heat up on you. It reminds me of like a handgun that my grandpa or my uncle, all them had really hair triggers on their guns. You have to be real careful. And that's how the old Johnson is.
There it is. Citizens Communicator Gonset, the Faust Gonset made all sorts of really cool amateur radio stuff, and these kind of smaller styles. Conversions for make your AM radio listen to 10 meters. The Communicator series also in there, 6 meter, 2 meter, 10 meter. Here in California, I think Young Spring and Wire Company was part of it. The G11 was their first radio for 11 meters. Their Class D in 1959, maybe late 58, as a matter of fact. I've got that ad I should put back up. Yeah, definitely there is some audio issue. I don't know if it's the microphone itself. The element seems to be okay when I can hear you. It's just very low, so even getting close is a little tough. Don't try this when it's noisy outside, but we can hear you when it's quiet like it is now. And I would imagine your Magic Eye tube is struggling to make the grade.
Yeah, that's correct. Rather frustrating. I figured I'd do all my Magic Eye radios tonight on me. So thank you for the time. The old G11.
All right, Gonset G11, one of the first radios in CB1. That's where you can tell. It's in there with the Hallicrafters as well. But Sam's Photofax CB1, probably late 1958, 59, getting in on the before the rush, before 1 million people wanted that radio. I want to say hello to 10 and 30. Hey, I see you out there. No jumping dolphins. I will get you guys up on the screen here, checked in, the old Tube Radio Network. I'm getting my pictures crossed up here. Let me go back to the control room here. Okay, that's good. And we can get the shortwave listeners checked in as well. You're listening to the old Tube Radio Network. Glad to see you guys are out there. Hope the weather is good. I think there's another cold blast coming through, at least for us here in California, but glad to see you made it into the radio room tonight. Yeah, the FM tuners, Mitch, I think, was it, I don't know if Macintosh, but Scott, who was the other one? Scott Stereo, I think, put Magic Eyes in their tuner as well. Who was the other one that made them? But it's probably was it the Scott, and then I can't remember the initials that went with it that did that. Let's see, who's on my screen? Talking about knobs. We love knobs at the Lake Almanor. Good audio. Hello, radio from the Voodoo Land, out from the studio and into the shack. Hello, Mark. I don't know if you were listening in. We had a little short conversation with the AI6J today. We're checking out the TS2000. That has possibilities for some decent audio, and I hope you didn't freeze out there. Well, you guys must be getting a lot of snow. You're going to be getting a lot of snow, so it's amazing that you decided to jump out into the studio and do some more sheetrock. Hopefully you had the heater going. Got you checked in as well. Maybe catch you guys tomorrow. I'm doing some reconnoitering on the Wheatstone, and I had to have it updated with some stuff, and the guy got in from North Carolina and did some audio trickery through the internet. So that's the stuff for you. The old Tube Radio Network, Real Radio's Glowing in the Dark. The jingle singers are saying, tell us about that friendly place on a Saturday evening.
How do you do? Ladies and gentlemen, greetings to you. Wherever you are, the friendliest station for you by far is known to all as
OTR, the old Tube Radio Network.
The station for you is
OTR.
And let's see, who is it? Jim saying he was on a Gonset G15. Let me see if I got a picture of that before we turn it over and see if we got any more radios out there. We got the G11s. I don't see it. Oh, wait a minute. G15. Let me see if I got a picture for you. Looks like there's an image. Let me grab. Oh, that's an interesting radio. Let me go to. Is it that one? Yeah. Gonset G15. These features make the Gonset communicator the leader, so still called the communicator. And it's 23 channels, so this is one of their last ones with a S meter as well. This is the big deal. I don't think we've ever had. I do not think we have ever had a Gonset G15 check in. Dual conversion. Yeah, see, this is the big stuff. Highest audio output, provides maximum. There you go. That's what we need to get Sean, because it has 100% modulation. Anyway, there it is. Division of the Young Spring and Wire Company. I wanted to see that. We are listening for radio number 6. And Dwayne is saying, bring the replacement jingle singers. He says, they were better. Now, wait a minute. He says he liked the replacement jingle singers a little bit better. So, you know, they were a little bit kind of in your face, those replacement jingle singers.
Sometimes we're funny, sometimes we suck.
OTR listening for radio number 6.
60.
And 60. Let me grab. Let me go back to the control room here. And thanks for joining us. Let's see. That's funny. Who said that? It said somebody says, Dennis, your hair color matches your cat. If you begin to lose any hair, you could use your cat as a toupee. Well, that's funny. Well, my hair is turning gray. Where's Moocher? I borrowed the Moocher tail here. Where are you? Right here? Okay, there we go. I do have like one of those Daniel Boone hats. There you go. He's your ride. All right, Joe, go ahead. Over.
I wanted to hear more about that cat hair. It might work for me. We kind of have that. We have that problem.
Sorry, Moose.
Dennis from Waseca, Minnesota. I'd like to check in my E.F. Johnson from E.F. Johnson, the Messenger 223.
I will find that. Another great radio, built to last. Messenger 223, built pretty much all throughout the 60s, and then they figured out how to add some 23 channels, just like the Gonset, you know, their G15. It's like, we'll take this little thing that we made in 1959, which was a Messenger. Then the Messenger 2, add some stuff inside, add a few more crystals, and then the 223, let's put it all in one box. And for $200, it is yours, and you never know. It might just last until the 21st century. Take another transmission. Over.
You know, you might be right on that, Dennis. 10 tubes, all 23 channels, an interesting little radio. For many years, it was used in the police force and in locations, I mean, you know, like the fire department. Very useful little radio, maybe because it was well built and not too complicated to work with. I like it for that particular reason. I can just turn it on, warm her up, and it's got a beautiful meter box there and all lit channel changer there. So yeah, we do pretty good with this little 10 tuber.
That's basically all you need. Actually, you've got a 7-tube radio, so 9, 10, 11, I think there were some 12 tubes. A lot of times, if you had the extra tube, you had the side band, they needed a tube. I know the Regency had the tube in the product detector and some other stuff like that, but it works well. E.F. Johnson, great all-around radio. This is the one, if you're looking for something, you can still find them around. The prices aren't too bad. They work well. I guess the only thing, the caveat that radio ham guy Larry would tell us about, who actually worked there in the 1980s, said, beware of the crystals kind of getting out of whack, you know, getting out of tolerance. But in all the years we've been doing this, I think all the E.F. Johnsons we've had have not had any serious crystal problems. It's only bass. You had to buy their separate mobile radio. You couldn't put a cord in the back of that. Runs 115 volt AC. 1969 to 1972. Looking good for about $215 with the supplied Johnson desk mic, which I think you have, right?
I have, and I am working on that one. I just rewired it from the cord point of view. Make sure the solders were good and everything, and just the element now is all I got to order. It is a nice mic, little hard to, you know. I hear people, you know, tell me like once in a while that it's very low in modulation. Well, you've got to just about eat it, and you have to have it. You have to keep it close. Let's put it that way, pretty close to the base there. But right now we're on a gray-based D104.
Cannot go wrong with a D104 most of the time with your tube radio. You get the right one with the right impedance, and they do work well. You are Radio number 7 with the E.F. Johnson, over.
Well, thank you. Doggone it, she seems to look pretty good on the meter. She keys up pretty good. Unbelievable, the wattage on it. I haven't checked it for peak, but we'll do that some other time. I appreciate it, and I think I might have one more to check in, so if we can, we'll do it right now.
Okay, I am ready for you, over. I'm not doing my homework. I didn't forget to write down all the radios tonight. Jingle Singers, are they ready? They are good tonight. You know why? Because we've got those other jingle singers that they step up to the microphone, and well, I don't know what to say. Let's see who makes it to the microphone. I'm not sure if it's the OTR jingle singers or the other ones. Nobody. Nobody wants to do it. All right, I can do that.
60.
All right, 60. We
really hate singing jingles.
Okay, so we won't get a jingle, but we will get a radio. Go ahead.
Dennis, let's talk about these 7 tubes. We just mentioned there a minute ago. Most definitely a friendly radio. A little guy with a lot of heart. 7 tubes, 8 channels, and all of its carrying gear. You could walk around with it. It's like a transistor, like a little portable radio battery type, but a lot of heart. The Pretty Blue Radio, the Hustler, from World Radio Labs.
From green to blue, World Radio Labs. That's Leo Meyerson, WRL. Anybody familiar with the Globe Scouts, the Globe Kings, the Globe Champs? Here's the guy that produced those and then took about 70 pounds and about 70 tubes maybe, and said, you know what, we can get on the Class D, make a radio that looks really cool, that the XYL would say, you know what, you don't have to keep that one out in the garage. Why don't you bring it in here into the living room? And when we're done watching Red Skelton, we'll turn it on and have a 5-minute QSO. Back to you.
Yeah, doggone it. And it's a well-lit radio. It does have similar to a modulation light, but more like an indicator that it's on. Half of the top of the radio is lit, well aerated, but the part with the tubes is lit. That's half of the radio.
It is convection cooling. That's why they put the holes in it. You don't need to have a fan in there. And tubes like it hot. They don't really need to, unless, they don't need to be air-cooled unless you're running high power. Now, the component parts, the resistors, and you've got a transformer in there probably, and some of the capacitors, they don't like high heat that much. But the tubes, no problem. Squelch volume, even put an S-meter. I still don't have a price for these back in the day, but... this was like the economy model, right? This was the Dodge Dart, the Ford Falcon, the Chevy Nova of the day. This was your value radio, over.
I like that. The Falcon radio, boy, that it would have perfectly fit under the dash of a Falcon, a hard metal dash. Shame on the mess there, but doggone it pretty well. You described it to the T there, Dennis. Okay, you know what? I'm going to get on out of here. I know it's coming to that hour, and it's really nice right now. It's about almost 70 degrees in this room. I don't know if it's due to the tubes, but it's nice and comfortable in here, and it's about time to whip up the popcorn and catch a good movie.
Yeah, it is that time. I have some. And where is popcorn? Where is that Popcorn 913? We have some popcorn here in the studio tonight. I can smell it coming up, so we will try some of that. Okay, my computer's loading something I don't want to do, but we will get back to you. The Hustler Blue Radio looking good. World Radio Labs, that's a keeper. I think in the 40 years that we have been on the air, let's see, I'm in all sorts of bad buttons here. In the 40 years that we've been on the air, you are the only one that has keyed up. The Hustler is the only one that's keyed up on the Hustler. Over.
Well, you know, that's kind of neat. It made my day there when Harvey told me that I was going to be interested in this particular radio called the Hustler. So I'm sure. I don't care what it looked like. I just had to have it. But thank you much, Dennis, there, and we really did enjoy the show tonight.
All right, as did I. It keeps me busy checking in the radios. Moocher is in here, so Moocher didn't run away. We haven't scared the cat, so it's a good thing. Still time to check in the radio if you need to. I'm going to do some counting and amounting so that we can all get out of here and watch the movie and have some popcorn. And stay warm. You're listening to the Old Tube Radio Network. There was a question. Dwayne, yes. Levon, SWL5 did come in a little bit late, but he is checked in. And then the jingle singer said,
You're tuned to
OTR, Channel 11,
right here in
Fresno, California.
Stay with us
Old Tube Radio.
and be modern.
counting and amounting.
Good time to mention those radios.
Yes, this is the perfect time to mention the radios before we sign out, to recap, to reconnoiter what's going on and what's available. Over to you.
Okay. Robin, T123B, that blue or green radio. The Heathkit GW22, about a 6-channel little bread box or square box radio, lunch box. The Johnson Messenger 223 with a Silver Eagle microphone. A R68 T68 Browning Golden Eagle, similar to this one, with a banana mic. And a Golden Eagle Mark III SSB with the receiver that already has the high-frequency crystal in it for the upper channels, and comes with a Golden Eagle microphone, D104 Golden Eagle mic. Contact me, through Dennis, through the Facebook thing, whatever, and I can let you know more about them. I have them here with me, and if they have to be shipped, I'll ship them. If they're going to go somewhat local, I'll take them to the somewhat local place, and person can see them. Okay, let you go, Dennis. Thank you.
All right, thank you for the recap. And Moocher, is it time to go, Mooch? Moocher says, yeah. Moocher's got the grumpy face. It's like, how come I'm not getting any treats? So with that, the fanfare will tell us the current totals coming up.
Ladies and gentlemen, time now for the current OTR totals.
Current and final totals. And tomorrow is Groundhog Day, isn't it not? The 2nd. So does that mean if Bozo Control sees his proboscis shadowing on the ground, there'll be 20 more years of the old Tube Radio Network? I think that's how it works. Radios tonight. Let me go to, you know what, I got to go. This is going to work if I go, Lock to Talk. We love Lock to Talk. Let's see, we have 21 check-ins on page 1, 18 on page 2, 18 on page 3, and 22 on page 4, for a total of 79, I think, is the total shortwave listeners on about halfway through the check-in list here tonight. And there were 10 radios, and the Robins were definitely the most heard manufacturer tonight. And that is including the Robin that came in during the roll call from Mike 47. Started off with Harvey on the Browning Golden Eagle Mark III. No, I'm sorry. Harvey was on the Browning Golden Beagle. What did I write? It was a Mark III. It's actually a Browning Golden Eagle R68 T68. I'm forgetting what to do here. The R68 T68. Sorry, Harvey. I will get it right. And then Jerry came in with his Browning Golden Eagle Mark III SSB. So the Brownings got off to a good start. And then Sean and Sanger with the Robin T123. That may be, I have to go back. I think that was the loudest radio all night coming in. It was playing well in Lindsay. Radio number 4, Joe was on his Robin T123 Bravo. Then where did we go? Sean out on the Demco satellite. Transmitter, receiver, modulator, speaker, and that other thing he mentioned. I'll have to go back and listen because I didn't write it down. But he had a name for it. Followed by the Gonset G11, definitely our oldest radio tonight from 1959 with a little bit of audio. But that's not to say it can't come to life. I'm not exactly sure. Is it a tube? Is it the microphonium element? Is it just because it's old? Sometimes that happens. But it was on the air and it sounded good, and we checked it in. Joe on the E.F. Johnson Messenger 223. How many of you had radio? How many of you had a Johnson Messenger 223 at one point? For $200, you couldn't beat it. Nice little radio. How many of you still have a Johnson Messenger 223? The other radio was the Hustler, World Radio Labs Hustler. And then, of course, the Robin T123B from Mike at the beginning of the program. I keep thinking I forgot to write down a radio, but let me know if I did. Anyway, your old Tube Radio Network, real radio's glowing in the dark. It is time for some popcorn for the humans and possibly some cat treats for the felines. And what are we doing? Okay, they're signaling me that, okay. Espresso Truck and Company followed Mitch in the door. They haven't left. They're setting up. And so it's inevitable what's going to happen next. Anyway, 73, everybody. Thanks for a good program tonight, a good net, and we should be back same tube time, same tube channel on the Old Tube Radio Network. And I'm just wondering, are they ready yet in the other studio? What are they doing?
Oh, that sounded good. Good show, Dennis.
Yeah, they say that now anyway, sounding good in the neighborhood.
Hello, DX, my old friend. I've come to shoot skip once again. Because my linear softly tweaking pinned your meter while I was speaking, and the audio that punched through your RF gain is not to blame. It's just the sounds of DX. In restless dreams I talked alone when no DX could reach my zone. Neath the halo of an old tube amp, I keep my mic down like a DX jam. When my eyes were stabbed by the flash of my on-air light, it lit the night and filled my ears with DX. And in the distant night I heard an eagle sing an AQ bird. People talking without breaking, people talking about nothing, people keying old tube rigs that crackle through the air without a care, and fill the waves with DX. I said, bros, you do not know how to work an oscilloscope. Watch my TikToks that I might teach you. Swing your beam so that I might reach you. But my words, like burnt out finals fell. It's just as well echoed in the walls of my shack. The operators bowed and prayed to the noise they had made, and the scope flashed out its warning in the waves that it was forming. Net control said the words of the text are written in the photo facts and CB tricks, and whisper in the sound of DX.
Break OTR.